Hey guys, it's Jaced, and today we got something a little bit different than the usual videos I make. Because normally I make like these scripted videos and everything is thought out and stuff like that. But today I wanted to try something else. I wanted to make a tier list, and I actually made a custom tier list for this because this exact tier list didn't exist on Tier Maker. So what you see here is a tier list I made of all the flagship monsters across the mainline games. So everything from 1st to 5th generation, excluding Monster Hunter Frontier, of course. Okay, then let us start. First up, we got 1st generation, which is Rathalos. Just a normal Rathalos. Rathalos has been present in every Monster Hunter game. Rathalos is the guy. It's the monster for Monster Hunter. So so considering that it does represent Monster Hunter on its own, and it's like Monster Hunter's mascot, and it's probably the most well-known monster of all, it is not my favorite like at all by a long shot. I do like Rathalos, but since we've seen Rathalos so many times, it's just kind of boring, I guess. I mean, as you can see by the list itself, the least I can go is average, because none of these monsters are below average. Like, there are, in my opinion, no bad flagship monsters. The only one I could see being bad comes later in this list. I will talk about that whenever we get to it. But for right now, I would put Rathalos into... I would put him in good tier. Like, he's nothing super special. He has a cool design. His design got better and better over the years. Although I really do like the more saturated Rathalos color schemes more. His latest designs have been like visually more impressive. So Rathalos is a good. He's definitely in good tier. Next up we have Azure Rathalos, which maybe the same stuff applies basically. But I think Azure Rathalos is a little bit cooler since his fight is so different, at least for me. I think that his fight, even though he is just like a variant or like a subspecies, his fight makes it way more interesting to fight Rathalos, makes it more dangerous. He's faster. He has a couple different, a little bit of a different moveset. I just enjoy Azure Rathalos' fight way more than I enjoy Rathalos' fight, and it's actually not even close. So Azure Rathalos is going into pretty good. I really enjoy fighting Azure Rathalos. Now, this is kind of it's a hard pick because I do love, like, whenever Elder Dragons are the flagship monster. It doesn't happen often, but sometimes, like, most of the flagships are not Elder Dragons. A couple of them are, as you can see. And I really do enjoy that. I really like the vibe it gives when an Elder Dragon is a flagship. But Kushala, I love that he's like a European dragon. Like, almost like perfectly European dragon, except for that he's wind-based and not fire-based. But still, I really like his design and his aura and his, like, what would you call it? Like, his presence, the way he is, the way he looks, the way he fights. But what I really don't like is his fight itself. Like, fighting him. The way he fights looks cool, but it's super annoying. Like, you get thrown around everywhere. There's wind everywhere. You can't even get close to him unless you have like special talismans or decorations or whatever, which is not a big problem since in most games it's pretty easy to get wind resistance. But until you have wind resistance, this fight is like, it's so annoying. It should have gone in. Actually, I've seen a lot of you guys commenting under my last video, which did great, by the way. I'm so glad it got almost 50k views. This is crazy for me. I'm such a small channel, and 50k views is crazy, crazy, crazy. A lot of you guys said under that video that you would like to see Kushala the Aura be in the top annoying monsters list, and I'm working on that. It's a second video that is coming out in a couple, maybe next week or this week. Kushala the Aura is gonna be in there, trust me. But for now, we're gonna put Kushala in average. Okay, now let's get cracking. Monster Hunter fucking unite. Yeah, I fucking love Tigrex. Tigrex is probably wait, not Unite. I'm stupid. Not Unite. Unite is Nargacuga. This is Freedom 2. Tigrex. So Tigrex is super cool design. I love the T-Rex head. I love that he's a flying wyvern that doesn't really fly. He's more of like a brute wyvern with wings. It's kind of weird, even though he's not that big, but he's super strong. He's fast, he's agile, keeps you on your toes. The fight is good, even though the newer fights are a little bit like easy compared to back then. He's still a super good fight. I always enjoy fighting Tigrex, no matter in what generation I'm fighting him in. So I'm gonna put Tigrex in amazing. Like I really enjoy Tigrex. A lot of the same stuff can be said for our next candidate, which is Nargacuga. Nargacuga is like a lot like Tigrex in that Nargacuga is mostly flightless. Actually behaves more like a big cat, obviously modeled after big cats. Like Nargacuga's fight is a little bit more interesting than I'd say Tigrex's fight in the way how Nargacuga fights, with retreating and getting you from angles that aren't like super clear. Like Nargacuga can jump onto trees, can jump can jump onto trees, can jump down, get you with its tail. Nargacuga is super fast, blitzes you all the time, spins, runs at you, runs away. Nargacuga is just high adrenaline fighting from start to finish. And even though I find it more interesting than Tigrex itself, like the fight, I don't like the design as much as Tigrex's design. So I'm not going to put him in pretty good. I'm also going to put him in amazing, like Tigrex, but just behind Tigrex. Maybe there will be something in between here, but I'm not sure yet. Now, guys, I know I probably have to. I mentioned this in every video. Every single video, almost every single video, I mention how the Lagiacrus is my favorite monster. Like I don't know. Actually, I'm not really sure. I think I started with Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, but Monster Hunter Try was my favorite. Because I can't really remember, it was so long ago. I'm not sure if Monster Hunter Freedom Unite was my first or Monster Hunter Try was my first, but it was one of those. But I know that Try is my favorite Monster Hunter game ever. Like, it's not the best. It's clearly not the best Monster Hunter game, but it's my personal favorite. And Lagiacrus being its flagship, I have so many good memories of this game and this monster itself. And I love everything about Lagiacrus. I love Leviathans. I really enjoy that. I'm one of the 5 people on Earth that actually liked water combat. So I really like Lagiacrus for that specifically. I like his design. I always enjoy electricity monsters. I really do enjoy electricity monsters. They're super cool. Even like stuff like Tobi Kadachi, so good. It's like superb. So I'm really gonna put Legiacris as the first one to go into the goated tier. Next up, oh my god, I was just talking about electricity monsters, and I still remember for Zinogre, when Portable Third came out in Japan, it didn't even take long, like a couple months later, there was an English patch. No, it was a German patch, because I live in Germany. Nowadays, I play everything in English, and I pretty much only have English friends or English-speaking friends. But back then, I used to like play everything in German, of course. And there was a German patch for Monster Hunter Portable Third. And I got that English patch. I had to jailbreak my PSP, my completely legal PSP. I patched the game. I got the game on there. I patched the game and I played it so much. Portable Third was such a good game. And I'm so sad that it never released in the West. Because a lot of people haven't like experienced this perfect game. It might be the best, like honestly said, it might be the best classic Monster Hunter game. Before like I'd say Generations is like right in between new gen and old gen. Right in between, it's like on the cusp. But Portable Third is still old gen. Of course, it's third generation. And it's the best. It's the best old gen Monster Hunter game by far. Zinogre, also super good fight. In later iterations, it's also a super good fight. I love fighting him in World. I love fighting every version of Zinogre, even the subspecies. It's so cool. It's super high octane, and as I said, I love electricity monsters, so he's going into goated, right behind Legiacris, because Legiacris is my boy, and he's staying there. Next up, we got Brachydios, or Brachydios, whatever you want to call it. I normally say Brachydios or Brachydios. Nothing else. I've heard people say Brachydios or Brachydios. I don't think that's right. Brachydios. I'm gonna stick with that. I fucking love the theming. I love the slime symbiosis. I love that he's a boxer. I box myself in my spare time. And I just fucking love it. I adore the design. I love the fight. Brachydios is like one of the couple monsters where it feels like you're actually fighting a huge monster that is out to kill you. Because most monsters in Monster Hunter, for a vet like me, it's not even just for the newer titles, it's also the older titles. Most monsters are like pushovers. As soon as you have a couple of years of Monster Hunter under your belt, most of the monsters are pushovers, and they feel like pushovers. But Brachydios is not that. Well, he is a pushover most of the time, and unless it's Raging Brachy, but he doesn't feel like it. He does feel like he puts up a fight, and he does feel like you have to do some desperate maneuvers in certain times, at certain times, to not get overwhelmed. I would like to put him in Amazing, but the thing dragging him down is like his armor and weapon design. Well, his armor designs are great, but his weapon designs I don't really vibe with. I don't like his weapon designs like at all, especially the dual blades. Really don't like those. So I'm gonna I think I'm gonna put him in pretty good, but it's a very high pretty good. It's not like maybe even a low amazing. He could be in any of these. To be honest. But I'm gonna put him in a high pretty good. Now, guys, Gore Magala. Gore Magala is so cool. He's like so mysterious. His fight is great. has actually great lore for being a Monster Hunter monster. As we know, Monster Hunter doesn't really have all too much lore, or doesn't really provide stories for its monsters. Like, the ecology side is great, but when it comes to like a story for a monster, it's very lacking in that department. So Gormagala is one of the few that actually do have like a real story tied to them. Like Lagiacrus has it too a little bit, with people thinking he does the earthquakes. Volcana, of course, has a little bit of story to it. Magnamalo as well. But all of these aren't really that captivating as like a larval state monster reaching adulthood and turning into something completely different. Like, we got it later with Xenojiva and Safijiva, but those aren't flagships, so I'm not talking about those monsters today. I really like Gormagala. I really like the design. I love the concept. The fight is great. The game it appears in is great. But it's truly, it's great. It's not amazing though. Is it better than Brachydios? I don't think it's better than Brachydios. I really don't think it's better than Brachydios. So I'm gonna put in pretty good below Brachydios. Now, Seregios is how should I say it? Seregios is a weird one for me, because I've played Monster Hunter 4 and 4G, but I played 4 more so than 4G, and 4G is, it's kind of, I love the concept. I love everything about the game, but I do enjoy the games that came before and the game that came after way more than Monster Hunter 4. I know it's a lot of people's favorite Monster Hunter game, and I totally get it. But I just find Generations that came after it, Generations was better. And I find Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, which came before, just find it better. And Seregios is mostly, I mean, he's cool. The fight is good. Yeah, it's good. That's it. I like the weapon designs of Seregios a lot more than I like the weapon designs of Brachydios, for example. But just the game he appeared in, and like the whole vibe I get from Seregios is not as special as the ones above. And I actually don't find him as interesting as the plain Rathalos. So I'm gonna put him in good tier below Rathalos. I hope my I know my ramblings sometimes don't really make sense, but most of these I go off of my gut feeling, my personal gut feeling. Where is it? There it is. Sorry, I messed up something. Okay, next one is Glavenus. Yeah, speaking about generations, Glavenus, super good fight. Even in World, I adore fighting against Glavenus. It's the same thing I said about Brachydios, with like, he makes you fight for it. He really comes across as a monster who you have to give your all against to beat him. And I find that so cool. I love it. His armor designs and weapon designs are crazy as well. His design is crazy. It's a T-Rex with a sword basically on its tail. And when he sharpens the sword, it looks so cool. And his tail slams and everything. I love his fight. And I really think it's an amazing fight. Is it as amazing as Tigrex and Nargacuga? It's definitely better than Nargacuga. I adore Glavenus so much. I like him more than Nargacuga, but he's actually staying behind Tigrex, if you ask me. He's staying behind Tigrex, but close, very close to Tigrex. Next up, Valstrax. So, Valstrax, super cool idea. Super cool design. It's a rocket-powered dragon. But the design is crazy. I know the design is so good, but I hate the fight. I really hate the fight. Like, it's not even because it's annoying or it's too hard. It's just like the rhythm of the fight I don't really vibe with. Like, I do enjoy how speedy he is and how abrupt he can do stuff. But overall, the fight is it's underwhelming. Yeah, exactly. That's the best way to put it. The fight is underwhelming. For a dragon of Valstrax's caliber, you would think, oh man, he's a rocket-powered dragon. This fight is going to be crazy. It's gonna be everything you ever wanted. But it just lacked something. I can't even put my finger on what exactly it needs to be more than it is right now. But something's missing. So his design-wise, I would put him in amazing. But his fight takes him down to pretty good. Like, the end of pretty good. But he has aura, so maybe above Azure Rathalos? Oh, this is hard. Either top of good or bottom of pretty good. I'm gonna put him in the bottom of pretty good. Give him the benefit of the doubt. Because he has a really, really cool design and a really, really cool concept. It's just like the fight that doesn't vibe with me personally. And I know it's super different for everyone, but for me personally, I don't really like this fight. Next up, I do enjoy the fight quite a lot. I do enjoy the monster's character. I do enjoy the monster's design a lot, and the concept. It's goddamn Nergigante. I fucking love Nergigante. He's one of the best Elder Dragons that have ever existed. He's definitely going in GOAT tier. He has some of the best armor sets that I've ever seen. And I really, 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 really like Nergigante. He's so cool. And his fight seems so... What we call it? So desperate. It's like he's so strong. He never really struggles in his day-to-day life as a Nergigante. But... whenever he's fighting the hunter, he comes across an opponent that can actually do a lot of damage and can take his life. And you see in the way he fights that he's so desperate to take the W because he does not want to die and he's not used to taking so much damage, and he gets desperate, rolling around on the ground, trying to do everything possible to get the edge over the hunter. And he really tries. And it's always so sad when you beat him. I don't know, man. It's a goated monster, goated fight. Even better than Zinogre, I think. Even better than Zinogre. So, yeah, this is it. Like, behind Lagiacrus, for me personally, but above Zinogre. Velkhana. This is going to be a little bit controversial, but I hate Velkhana. The design is fine. It's like Icy Kushala Daora, which is kind of crazy because I'm gonna put a Velkhana in average. The armor designs are so good. Weapon designs are okay. The fight though, I think it's boring. It's very boring. He has a lot of unnecessary AoE that is more annoying and boring to fight against than being difficult. Like, Velkhana is not super difficult, not even in Master Rank, in World, Iceborne. It's an average fight. I think it's an average fight. I don't like it as much. And there's not really anything that would pull Velkhana up into the better tiers. So I'm going to put him in average. but in top of average. Like Kushala is worse. I really don't like Kushala. Now to the most recent games, which are Rise and Rise Sunbreak. Magnum Alo. I adore the fight. I love his design. But comparing Magnum Alo's design to all of the other monsters in the series, Magnum Alo looks like a video game monster, if you get what I'm saying. Like, Valstrax does too, like he's a rocket-powered dragon, but he has more... Valstrax has more, like, features of being an animal than Magnum Alo has. Like, Magnum Alo looks almost like a monster from God Eater. I love God Eater, and I love its monster designs, but Magnum Alo would fit more in God Eater or even Tokiden than he fits into Monster Hunter. I think the design of Magnum Alo is such a step in the wrong direction that it almost made me hate Rise just from seeing the game's cover, because it just doesn't look like Monster Hunter to me. The fight though is great. I love the fight. I like the tail spike, how he attacks you with the tail. I like that he can like shoot these blast powder plumes at you. It's really cool. He has actually some nice defensive setups as well. It's not super hard. It's nothing like really stupendous or super amazing, so I'm definitely not gonna put him here. But I really don't like his design. I'm gonna put him in... And before anyone calls me out on this, I know I once said Magnum Alo was one of my favorite monsters, but yeah, I came around on it for a while, but ever since I replayed Rise, I really don't like him as much, at least design-wise. So I'm gonna put him in good tier. Yeah, it's not pretty good. I'm gonna put him in good tier, right above Rathalos. Now to one of the monsters I am quite torn about, like Malzeno. I haven't fought Malzeno that many times since Rise is probably my least played Monster Hunter title overall. I fought him a couple times though. I do love his design. I love his concept. The fight is okay. It's nothing to write home about, in my opinion. There's a lot better fights in Rise specifically that are so much better. Like even things like Tetranodon is more like vibes more with me than Malzeno. So I think Malzeno is also kind of weird, because Malzeno gives off an aura of a monster that would be like super overwhelming when it comes to fighting it. But that's not really what happens, because in Rise specifically, the hunter has so many options available to him that it's like all of Rise is like a joke. Like you really cannot put a strong monster in Rise, because the hunter is so strong that all monsters end up weak. So the difficulty is, yeah, same with Magnum Alo. The fights they are good. They're nothing to write home about though. But I do like Malzeno's design and concept more than Magnum Alo, so he's going into pretty good. Okay, so this is the finished tier list. I know I rambled a lot, but it's just like, it's very hard to get across what I feel about these monsters. But I think I did a pretty good job ranking these. Looking over the over the looking over the tier list, I'm really happy with the decisions I've made. I haven't thought about this beforehand. I didn't like write down notes or anything like that. I went off the top, going with my gut feeling, and I think I hit the nail on the head with this one. I really do enjoy all of these monsters, at least most of these monsters. Whenever I fight them, except for these two, I really don't like these, but they're not bad. As I said, they're the least they can go is average, because I don't think there is even a really bad Monster Hunter monster. Well, dromes, like the early dromes and Cephadrome. He's a drone, but you know what I mean. Those could be called bad or below average to bad. But ever since then, monsters haven't really been bad by itself. Like, they have been average, but not bad. So yeah, this is my tier list. Let me know if you agree with some of my picks. What picks would you remove or move to different tiers, to different categories? Have I put someone as one of your favorite monsters in average? Is anybody's favorite monster Velcana or Kushala? Let me know in the comments down below. Subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video. And I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.